Okay, we are in chapter 3. We already read the first verse. We have a civil war, almost, or not almost, literally. It says the war between the house of Shaul and the house of David was long drawn out, but David kept growing stronger while the house of Shaul grew weaker. So we saw the war in Givon and the result of it, and it looks like David is gradually taking more and more power, but still the house of Shaul, led by Avner ben Ner, is still a factor, and there is a war. It's not very clear how active was the war. So there were armies fights against each other. It's maybe just hostile activities here and there, like in Givon, but not real battle. We don't read about battles that happens here or there. It doesn't say any details about this war. I believe it's was like the war between Israel and the Arabs, not now, before. Like there is hostilities, tension, sometimes one accident or other, but not active war. It looks like we're going to see later that there are messages between the camps and there are connections between them. And but there is a war. There's no peace between them. There's no embassies in Hebron and Shomron or Givat Shaul. And part of the idea that David is growing stronger is the family also. So there is here the first list of sons of David, which is an interesting list. We have 6 children, each one from other mother. So he already has 6 wives. And each one of these wives apparently represents some political interest. Like we said, it sounds very ugly today, but we're going to see in this chapter also in other cases that marriage and relationships in the level of the kings is always also a political question. So here we have sons were born to 3 of these sons we are going to meet later in the stories of David, mostly in negative context. So let's see. Sons were born to David in Hebron. His first was Amnon by Achinoam of Israel. So also having sons, meaning like establishing. It's you are not in the desert anymore, wandering from one place to another. You are in a stable place. You are stable. You're starting having children. A lot of them getting married many times, right? So it's like the part of the growing of David. So the first one is Amnon, from the famous Amnon Bet Tamar. We're going to see the story later. The second is Hilab, by Abigail, wife of Naval the Carmelite. Still wife of Naval the Carmelite, still mentioned. This son, we don't hear about him anymore, anywhere in the Bible. There is another list of the same names in Sefer Divrei Yamin, where he is called Daniel, the son of Abigail. So he has 2 names, and Chachamim say what was his real name. Daniel was his real name, and Chilab is only a nickname or another name. And what is exactly the meaning of that? He is not taking part in the fights on the inheritance of David. We're going to see that 3 of the children at least are involved, 4 of the children at least are involved in that. He is not mentioned, like I said before. Chachamim, the sages in the Midrash, saying that he was like the Talmid Chacham, Tzaddik, learning the yeshiva, is not taking part in any part of the political life. There is an original explanation of Rav Meidan. I just mentioned that there is also Midrash that says that the bad people, the wicked of the generation, say that he's actually not the son of David. He's the son of Naval, the first husband of Abigail. So what Hashem did, like in other cases in the Tanakh, in the sages says, he says that he was very similar to David, so nobody would question that. Av is father, that he come from the father. Rav Meidan says the opposite. Say no, it really was the son of Naval. It says Kil'av la'Abigail, Eshet Naval HaKarmeli. Why it's mentioned again that she was a wife of Naval? Because the son also was of Naval. So David treated him as son and grew him, helping growing him, but he wasn't really the son of David, and that's the reason he's not participating in all the fights on the inheritance, because it's for sure not one of the candidates. This is the original explanation of Rav Meidan. I tend to the more traditional explanation that he was a son of David, and for some reason he didn't care about being a king. Right? There are people like that. They just want to live quietly, calmly, without the power and all the challenges of being the leader. Like we say, Achinoam Israelit. Israel is a tribe of the north. It's not Binyamin. It's not Ephraim. It's a little bit farther north, but it can represent all the tribes of the north. So he's Issachar, Naphtali, right? This is the son of Israel. So the first connection is with the north. Naval, as we say, Avigai, Eshet Naval HaKarmeli is of Yehuda, the tribe of Yehuda. The third was Avshalom, son of Maachah, daughter of King Talmai of Geshur. This is already international relationship. He's getting married wives from other nations. So this is also, like we said before, political marriage. The fourth was Adoniah, son of Chagit. It's not very clear. These 4 and 5, it's not very clear where they come from. The fifth was Shephatiah, son of Avital.
Yeah.
So it's not very clear where are they from. It doesn't say so. Apparently, maybe also from the son of Hebron, where he's living. Now we have here a very strange name. The sixth was Itraam by David's wife Eglah, and was the rest of them weren't David's wives? Well, they say David's wife. And what kind of name is Eglah? You know what is Eglah? It's a she-calf of a cow. You know the daughter of the cow? What is it? She-calf?
We saw Eglon Melech Moab.
Yeah, Eglon Melech Moab. Chachamim said, again, the sages say that this was Michal, the first wife of David. And that's the reason she's called the wife of David, because she was the first one. She was a real wife of David. Why she's called Eglah? Chachamim say she likes her like Eglah. It's not. It wouldn't sound to us like a compliment. You love your wife like you love a cow. Well, it's
but it's mentioned in the Navi.
Yeah,
it used to be like.
Yeah, so in other places, apparently, like you like your property or something. I don't know exactly why. I mean, not very romantic. Sounds very romantic for me, but it was like to say that he likes her. This is a question because we mentioned already, Michal is going to return in this chapter. We mentioned already, Michal is the only woman in the Bible, in the old Bible, that says that she loves a man. There's no other woman. There's a lot of men that love women. Yaakov loved Rachel, Yitzchak loved Rivka, etc. So we have many places when it says that someone loved someone, men loved a woman. We never have in the Bible a woman loving a man, apart from Michal.
How did the marriages get arranged?
Yeah, we saw the story how they got married. Michal was the daughter of Shaul, and David was offered to get married with the king, and he had a challenge. It was one of the plans of Shaul to kill David, but David could stand the challenge to kill 100 Philistines. He killed 200, and that's how he got married. But then after that, when Shaul was more against David, and Michal herself, she saved the life of David at least once. When Shaul wanted to kill him, she helped him to escape. All these stories that we already saw in Shmuel Aleph. And then Shaul took her and got her married with other person.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we saw. All that is the background, what we're going to see next. Anyway, if we are saying that Eglah is Michal, so this is a marriage to what? To the house of the former king. It's also a very political action, and it's very important part of the power of David that is also connected to the house of Shaul. And these were born to David in Hebron. According to the Kabbalah, we have 6 children, 6 aspects until the 7th, like Shabbat. Who is the 7th? Shlomo. So this is all our preparations to the arrival of the real king that is going to be, which is going to be Shlomo. Usually the first one is the king. We're going to see the first one is going to die, the second one is going to die, the third one is going to die, all of them. David passed a lot of things. So Amnon died, was murdered. Avshalom started a revolt against David and was killed. And Adoniah also started a revolt against David, and after that also was killed for that. So the 3 first sons didn't. Okay, so after this this mention of the sons of David, we continue with the story. What? Yeah. What? He said that he's family of Shabbat. That you are the family of
My father.
your father's son.
I cannot.
So Yitzchak, maybe you're going to be a king one day.
I don't want.
He doesn't say that Shfatia wanted to be a king. Anyway.
Yeah. It wasn't.
So we return into the story. During the war between the house of Shaul and the house of David, Avner supported the house of Shaul. It's not supported. What it says here, and Avner grew stronger in the house of Shaul. Like we said before, that the king was Ishbosheth, but the real king was Avner. The real powerful man was Avner. Avner was family of Shaul. We can see in the Bible, I'm not going to introduce that, but there are some that I want to make proof that he was his uncle. So he sees himself as close to the king, but he doesn't have all the conditions to be a king. So he's acting through his puppet, right? Is Ishbosheth. And then the puppet forgot his place, right? It says, now Shaul had a concubine named Ritzpah, daughter of Fayah, and Ishbosheth said to Avner, it says here Ishbosheth in parentheses. Why? Because the Hebrew doesn't mention even his name. Vayomer el Avner, who say, it doesn't say. It's a way, there are some methods that the Bible is using to send a message. One of them, ignoring the names of people. When you ignore the name, you understand that you are not so important, as he is not so important, right? Now, Shaul has a concubine named Ritzpah, daughter of Fayah, and Ishbosheth said to Avner, why have you lain with my father's concubine? So, what was worried Ishbosheth? The moral action of every relationship, maybe with not a married woman or something, or what was the real problem? As we said before, women are part of the political game, the game of power. Sleeping with a concubine of the king, meaning you want to be a king. So that was the main problem, not any kind of moral problem. So Ishbosheth forgot his place and rebuked Avner for his actions. That wasn't a smart move. Avner was very upset by what Ishbosheth said, and he replied, am I a dog's head from Yehuda? Here I have been loyally serving the house of your father Shaul and his kin and friends, and I have not betrayed you into the hands of David. Yet this day over this woman you reproach me. The translation here is explanation. It's not very clear. The Hebrew is not very clear. What does it mean? Arosh kelev anochi asher liYehuda. So some say, it says, Harosh, am I the head? Or am I trying to take your kingdom? Am I Rosh? And then, Kelev Anochi Asher Yehuda, I prefer to be dog for Yehuda than being insulted like that. Yehuda, of course, is a nemesis. We are here in Binyamin, and the nemesis is Yehuda, and he said, or, other explanation, am I the head of a dog of the people of Yehuda? Meaning, again, it's like diminished importance. It's to say someone bad, it just says that you are from the tribe of Yehuda. You see the enmity between Yehuda and Binyamin. So he says, it says a saying plural, but it means in past. Until now, I've done chesed, I've done kindness, loyalty, I worked for your house. not for you. It was for your father, for his brothers, for his people, like his friends and family. And I didn't betray you into the hands of David. So I did all of that. If I wanted to be a king, I wouldn't have done all of that. Or maybe if if you suspect me, I can go with David. I could have gone with David. I did all that for you out of loyalty, and now you are blaming me in not being loyal. So he is very upset about that. And not only that, he says, may God do those and more to Avner if I do not do for David as God swore to him. What? To transfer the kingship from the house of Shaul and to establish the throne of David over Israel and Judah from Dan to Beersheba. So he said, for this, I'm going now to give the kingdom to David. Now here, between the lines, Avner is revealing something very negative about him. What is it? He admits that Hashem promised the kingdom to David, that the fact that he is maintaining the house of Shaul is against the will of God. So why are you doing that? If you are saying yourself that God swore to David, like, I will do to David as God swore to him. So how come you are doing against that? We can see that maybe it wasn't so much, that his loyalty to Shaul was bigger than the loyalty to God, which is very negative, or that he has like the personal interests of keeping the power to himself as part of the kingdom. Just to go in the direction of a little bit of what Chachamim said. We said last time, Chachamim see Avner as a great person. We're going to see that David also see him as a great person, and that he was a Talmid Chacham, the head of Sanhedrin, etc. And they say that he understood from the verses that there should be two kings out of Binyamin. So we can say that it's not contradiction. He understands that it should be two kings of the house of Shaul, of Binyamin, but it doesn't say that the second king will be king until the end of his life. It doesn't say how long there should be. You've been a king for 2 years, as we already say. Okay, so the prophecy is fulfilled. Now it's time to unite Am Israel around David, because also Hashem swore him. The fact that Hashem swore to David doesn't mean that Hashem doesn't want Ishbosheth to be king at least for a while. Right? So it's not necessarily contradict each other. It just says, this is a sign for me. The fact that you are accusing me personally, it's a sign for me that it's about time to fulfill the full prophecy of David, that he's going to be the king of all Israel. And we are also gaining by that to unite Am Israel from Dan ad Beersheba. Dan ad Beersheba, Dan is in the far north, around Lebanon. Beersheba is the south, not the far south, there are more south, but it's like the last place, but still there are many people living. Later it's the desert, usually people don't live there. So Dan ad Beersheba, it's a term that refers to all Eretz Israel, the land of Israel. In the Bible, when it says Dan ad Beersheba, I mean all Am Israel, at least, the places where Am Israel is sitting, living. So you say it's about time that the throne of David will be over all Am Israel, not only the tribe of Judah, like it was until now. So Avner not only saying, he's also acting. Again, and we see the word Ishbosheth doesn't appear in the Hebrew. It says could say nothing more in reply to Avner. Again, ignoring the name. He's not a factor here. He's just it was put on the chair. Could say nothing more in reply to Avner because he was afraid of him. Right. So we understand again who is a real king and who is only in the place. But Avner is not only upset and threatening Ishbosheth, is actually doing. Avner immediately, in Hebrew it doesn't say immediately, but we can understand it was immediately. It says, Vayishlach Avner malachim. So Avner sent messengers to David saying, to whom should the land belong? And to say, Father, make a pact with me and I will help you and bring all Israel over to your side. So the word to whom shall the land belong are not very clear here. What does it mean? Lemi aretz. We can understand it's like opening that phrase in God. To whom belongs the land? To God. So let's serve him together or something like that. It also can be understood as Lemi aretz. Do you want the land? Who the land belongs to? Do you want it? Let's do a pact. And it can be understood again, otherwise it says, Lemi haaretz, to whom shall the land belong? Not shall the land belong. Who owns the land? Me. I have the power on all the 10 tribes. I can help you to have it, right? I have the power to help you. So we can understand this land, these words, Lemi haaretz, in three meanings, or referring to God, or referring to David, or referring to Avner himself. לאמור, כורתה בריתי איתך, ואני ידי עמך להסב אליך את כל ישראל. You should make a pact with me, and I will help you and bring all Israel over to your side. So David replies, good. Here it doesn't mention also the name of David. Maybe it's also referring that the engine behind that, the motor behind that was Avner. He was the one who's doing everything, and we see how powerful him is. So he replies, good, I will make a pact with you, but I make one demand upon you. Do not appear before me unless you bring Michal, daughter of Shaul, when you come before me. Why David wants Michal? The positive option, he loves her. It doesn't say anywhere in the Bible that he loves her. Maybe what Chachamim says, Eglah. Maybe he wanted her his wife. He feels that it wasn't fair what was done to him, that he's married to him, his wife. Shaul said not, but it's what we explained, the machloket, the discussion, the halachic dispute if they are married or not, if you can be married by the orlot of the Plishtim, all that. But it looks more like what? Political. Yeah, I need the daughter of Shaul, meaning the power of the house of Shaul. Yeah, so Shaul is going to, it's important part of uniting Am Israel under my leadership is to have in also the legitimacy of being married to the former king, right? I'm not against Shaul, I'm continuing him. So this could be another reason.
Or he already was married to the daughter of Saul.
To what?
Wasn't he already married to the daughter of Saul?
Yeah, but we said that was what we saw in Sefer Shmuel. He was married to Michal, and then Shaul took her from him and gave her to other person because he claimed that the marriage weren't legal. The marriage to David weren't legal, so he canceled the marriage and got her married to other person. So David said, no, I want her back because she is really married to me. Yeah, there are big halachic questions here, right? Women married, yeah.
No divorce lawyers involved.
No, yeah, so maybe they were divorced. If he divorced her, he cannot marry her again. Because someone that got divorced from some woman, he cannot get married her again. If he was married to her and the second person wasn't married legally because he was married to her, so she's like unloyal when she's being with the other person, and the other person is making adultery, right? Because he's married. So if he never married her and now she's married to another person, that's the only halachic option that it's everything is legal. Even though Chachamim found other solution, we will see that later. Anyway, so David said to Avner, you have a test. You should bring me Michal. But he's doing that in the formal channel. He's sending to Ishboshet. David also sent messengers to Ishboshet, son of Shaul, to say, give me my wife Michal, for whom I paid the bride price of 100 Plishtim foreskins. So this was a story. Remember that he was demanded, that's what we said at the Machloket, if it's considered something in value, that you can marry the woman. You have to give something of value, right? We give today a ring, but something of value. Does it have value? Foreskins of Plishtim, 100 of them. Right. So that was a Machloket. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's something symbolic there.
Yeah.
There's nothing symbolic. I remember my professor, who eventually became my doctoral advisor, was lecturing his class on this sort of thing. He says, this was proof of how many men were killed.
Yeah.
Because that's...
You can't force that. You can't fake that. Yeah.
This is proof. So
Yeah.
they were going to battle and they come back to their tribe, they would show how many were killed.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it was the whole thing. They would, but that would rock. So,
Okay. Now, David is not mentioning, of course, the reason that I said before. I want her because this is like the reason I can be a king. Right? It says she is my wife, and it was taken from me unfairly. But he's sending to Ishbosheth, but he knows that the one who decides is Avner. That's what he said before to Avner. Ishbosheth is not deciding. Now here it's also ironic a little bit. Ishbosheth was accusing Avner for sleeping with a concubine of his father, which is like, can be something symbolic of being a king or being with the power. And then he himself gives, again, the power to David. So Ishbosheth sent and had her taken away from her husband, Paltiel, son of Flash. It doesn't say in Hebrew husband, it say ish. Vaikchea mean ish. It doesn't say her husband, it say from a man or for men. It's not very clear here what does it mean. But we're going to see about that. Paltiel, son of Flash. Here it's a heartbroken scene. Her husband walked with her as far as Bachurim, weeping as he followed her. Then Avner ordered him to turn back, and he went back. So he was crying on her. Meaning what? He didn't want that to happen. He loved her. He wanted her. What's her opinion? He doesn't say here anything about her opinion. It's of course very symbolic, right? Strong people have been fighting, playing games of politics, and who suffer? The simple people, right? It's just a simple person. He just got married with the wife that the king told him to get married. He loved her, he lives with her, and then suddenly she's taken because of these games of power between David and Avner and Ishbosheth and Shaul, and he's just a toy in this game. Chachamim say, there is another explanation, Chachamim appreciate Paltiel a lot. They are saying amazing things about him in the Gemara. They said that even though he was married to her, he never touched her because of the doubt of if she's married, right? So David claims she's married, Shaul claims she's not married. Now you are throwing that on me. You want to destroy my Olam Haba. But think about that, living with a woman, apparently a beautiful woman in a house, in the bed, they sleep in the same bed, without touching her for years. And Chachamim says he put a sword in the middle of the bed and says someone that passes this line is going to be killed. Meaning, about himself, right? He enforced himself not to touch her, not to do anything. So why he was crying? He was crying, according to Chachamim, for the mitzvah that going away, that he could overcome his. So they are comparing him to Yosef HaTzadik. So Yosef HaTzadik had this challenge with a wife of Potiphar, and this was much harder challenge, test for Paltiel. That's what he called here, Me'im Ish. The word Ish in the Bible many times is important person. We read that we're going to read that in the parasha of this week, that Moshe sends the spies. It says, Kulam Anashim. All of them are men. Men not in the meaning of person, men important men. Kulam Anashim Rashi Bnei Israel Em. So Vaikachea Me'im Ish, he took her from an important person, from a righteous person. Paltiel ben Laish. And then it says, so her husband walked with her. Here it does say her husband, Isha. So according to Chachamim, according to this explanation of Chachamim, no sin was done. Not by Paltiel, not by David. She was always married to David. The marriage never really were cancelled. Shaul cannot cancel, but just because he wants. He cannot cancel the marriage. She was formally or was married to, he get her married to some other person, but it wasn't a real marriage because she was already married to David, and you cannot cancel that. So the other person was strong enough and righteous enough not to touch her. Okay, so this is according to the explanation of Chachamim that no real sin was done here.
I thought the word Isha meant woman.
Isha. Isha. You see, the hay has a little point inside it.
Yeah.
This is called mapik hay. And in Hebrew, we said her. For example,
Possessive.
It's Isha, Ish Shela.
Yeah.
Her man, Isha, Isha without the mapik, without this point is a woman, right? So, and her husband walked with her as far as Bachurim. So remember this place, Bachurim. This place we're going to meet later when David is escaping from Avshalom, his son, and over there something happened. Some say this is a punishment for that action of, I don't know, abusing his power or causing pain to a righteous person. Anyway, he went until Bahurim and then returned, and she returned to David. So David has another leverage of being the king of all Am Israel. Now Avner continued with his plan. Avner had conferred with the elders of Israel, saying, "You have wanted David to be king over you all along." Another sentence that reveals something that we didn't know. We said that Avner made sure that Am Israel would be under under Ishbosheth. But what they really wanted, it looks here that he said, "You always wanted David, always." So again, the only powers that was preventing David from being king of all Am Israel, of unite all Am Israel under David, was Avner. The elders of Am Israel wanted David. He said, you wanted him all along. It may be that it doesn't refer to the time that he was, it refers to the time when Shaul was unfunctional king. And then David was taking care of everything. So then you wanted David to be king. So now remember this time, so according to that, maybe in this time they were with Shaul or with Ishbosheth or with Avner. But it looks like you've been always, gam tmol, gam shilshom, yesterday and the day before yesterday. Meaning it's been always like that you wanted David to be king on you. Now act. For God has said concerning David, I will deliver my people Israel from the hands of the Plishtim and all its other enemies through my servant David. The Plishtim are still in the background. David is going to finish with them in the next chapters. But we still understand that the real threat or the biggest threat of Am Israel is the Plishtim. And Hashem promised that Am Israel will be saved from the Plishtim by David. So this is the first, Avner is doing three actions. First of all is returning the wife to David. Second is talking with the elders of Israel. The last one, and the hardest one, is talking with the people of Benjamin. Avner also talked with the Benjaminites. We saw that the one who were protected, the people that were protecting him in the war of Givon were whom? The sons of Benjamin. So they are the strong core of the kingdom of Shaul, the people of Benjamin, of his own tribe, strong people, very, very talented in war. If you remember the end of Sefer Shoftim, we saw that that the tribe of Benjamin won the battle against all the rest of Am Israel 3 days until they lost. Right? They were very strong, powerful people, and they are with Avner, with Ishbosheth. But we see also here the power of Avner. So Avner also talked with the Benjaminites, and he convinced them. They went after him. Then Avner went and informed David in Hebron of all the wishes of Israel and of the whole house of Benjamin. So he succeeded in what he wanted. He convinced everybody. Now everybody can join David. Like the last time, there is one factor that won't let it happen. Who is it? The sons of Tzeruiah. Right. Wow. Yeah, Avner mainly. Yoav. Yoav, the son of Tzeruiah. So Avner is arriving to David to Hebron. I forgot to mention before, the fact that David sent messengers to Ishbosheth about Michal, meaning, like I said before, it wasn't an active war. You cannot send messenger in the middle of the active war. It looks like it was like silence with tension. Tense silence? Tense silence, right? And he could send messengers. They could send messengers in each other. He also, Avner is coming to David. So when Avner came to David in Hebron, accompanied by 20 men, again, 20 anashim, 20 men, powerful, David made a feast for Avner and the men with him. So Avner said to David, now I will go and rally all Israel to your majesty. So this is like the formal agreement, and Avner now is going to deliver. I will bring Am Israel to be under you. They will make a pact with you, and you can reign over all that your heart desires. And David dismissed Avner, who went away unharmed. So it says, Beshalom. The word shalom, look, it repeats in the end of 3 verses in one after the other. 21, Vayelech Beshalom. 22, Vayelech Beshalom, 23, Vayelech Beshalom. Right? 3 times it repeats Beshalom, meaning Avner really wanted to make peace, and that's exactly what David wanted. He wanted to be the king of all Am Israel, but in a peaceful way, without wars, without conflicts. If it takes a little bit more time, if it's a gradual process, okay, we have time. We don't have to hurry. Avner apparently understood that it's about time. Like I said before, it started from the personal insult. It started with a personal insult about the concubine, but after that he also said, Hashem wanted that, Am Israel wanted that, David is the right person, it should be done, finally. After 7 years of war, of tension between the house of David and the house of Shaul, he said it's about time. Ishbosheth is not the right person, David is the right person, all Am Israel can be under him, I want to do that. And again, the fact that it repeats so many times, the word Vayelech Beshalom, meaning he was really intention were pure in this case. He was really, what he really wanted is to bring all Am Israel together under the house of David. But then, just then, David's soldiers and Yoav returned from a raid, bringing much plunder with them. Avner, so apparently it was something usual that they went to the south, to the tribes of the Amalekim, to the Plishtim. There were constant wars in the south, and they returned with, and Avner and Yoav was a very talented commander, and he succeeded again to bring a lot of plunder with him. And Avner was no longer with David in Hebron, for he had been dismissed and had gone away unharmed. The translation here is unharmed, meaning without being touched, right? Without. Vayelech Beshalom here, it means like peacefully, I think. That's in peace. When Yoav and the whole force with him arrived, Yoav was told that Avner, son of Ner, had come to the king and had been dismissed by him and had gone away unharmed. Yoav went to the king and said, "What have you done? Here Avner came to you. Why did you let him go? Now he has gotten away." Yeah, Avner killed his brother, but he's not saying that. So what, we don't have a lot of time. I'm just going to read the story until the end, and we are going to discuss it with Hashem next week. Okay? So Yoav went to the king and said, like you said, why did you let him go? Don't you know that Avner, son of Ner, came only to deceive you, to learn your coming and goings, and to find out all that you are planning? Yoav left David. David doesn't answer. Not interesting. Right? David didn't say anything. Not good, not bad. Yoav left David and sent messengers after Avner, and they brought him back from the cistern of Sirah. But David knew nothing about it. When Avner returned to Hebron, Yoav took him aside within the gate to talk to him privately. There he struck him in the belly. Not in the belly, Chomesh. In the same place that was where Asael was killed, the brother of Yoav. Thus Avner died for shedding the blood of Asael, Yoav's brother. Afterward, when David heard of it, he said, "Both I and my kingdom are forever innocent before God of shedding the blood of Avner, son of Ner. May the guilt fall upon the head of Yoav and all his father's house. May the house of Yoav never be without someone suffering from a discharge or an eruption, or male who handles the spindle, or one slain by the sword, or one lacking bread." It's very strong curses.
But it's happened.
Now Yoav and no, it didn't happen to him, it happened to David. We're going to see that. Now Yoav and his brother Abishai had killed Avner because he had killed their brother Asael during the battle on Givon. David then orders Yoav and all the troops with him to rend their clothes, gird on sackcloth, and make lament before Avner. And King David himself walked behind the bier. And so they buried Avner at Hebron. The king wept aloud by Avner's grave, and all the troops wept. And the king intoned this dirge over Avner. Should Avner have died the death of a churl? Your hands were not bound, your feet were not put in fetters, but you fell as one falls before treacherous men. And all the troops continued to weep over him. All the troops came to urge David to eat something while it was still day, but David swore, "May God do those to me and more if I eat bread or anything else before sundown." All the troops took note of it and approved, just all the troops approved anything else the king did. That day, all the troops and all Israel knew that it was not by the king's will that Avner, son of Ner, was killed. And the king said to his soldiers, "You will know that a prince, a great man in Israel, has fallen this day. And today I am weak, even though anointed king. Those involved, the sons of Zeruiah, are too savage for me. May God requite the wicked for the wickedness. So, yeah. So there are a lot to discuss here. Mainly is the relationship between David and Yoav. It's a story that's going to be with us until the end of the book. These two people. What is exactly the relationship between them? For one side, they are very, very loyal to David, always with him, always protecting him, fighting for him, saving his life more than once. From the other side, very independent, not very obedient. And David is hating them in one side, or at least reproach them. From the other side, is not getting rid of them.
It's family.
Not only family, apparently he needed them. He really needed them. So they are, well, we are going to see about that until the end of the book, all this relationship. In the end of the story, I will already see the spoiler, right? David orders Shlomo to kill Yoav. And the one who killed Yoav was Shlomo, the son of David. And he says, as a reason, one of the reasons was because he killed Avner, as a revenge for killing Avner. But we see that, B'ezrat Hashem, this is already happening in Sefer Melachim, the next book. Yes, until now for today, any questions?